Wilder Show podcast. I'm Scott. That's Lauren. And how are you today, Lauren?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Wilder Show podcast drops Tuesdays and Fridays, 6 a.m. Central Time on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeart, Amazon, YouTube, on the TikTok every now and again. Also on Instagram as Wilder Show Pod. The email is podcast@wildershow.com, or better, and a lot of people do this, engage us wherever you find us on the platform there, wherever you listen. So give us a thumbs up or a comment or whatever. So wherever you get your podcast, would you like, rate, follow, subscribe, and share?
Isn't it weird that you spend like a big chunk of your life as a parent correcting people, little people, when they say, huh? And you have to correct them. They
That's
say,
right.
huh? Excuse me? Or whatever it is that is the, and then all of a sudden that time is just over.
We don't
It's
say
just
what,
over.
we say pardon. You're going to name the shooter, okay? Name the shooter.
Okay.
Abraham Lincoln.
John Wilkes Booth.
Okay. John F. Kennedy.
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Charlie Kirk.
Well, it depends on who you ask. Tyler
Charlie.
Robinson.
Okay. The attempt on Ronald Reagan. Can you remember that?
Hinckley.
That's correct.
Hinckley.
Now, name any one of those several who have attempted that against Trump. Any one of them. Just name one.
One of them was a kid, but I can't remember his name.
And that's really my point. Isn't that odd? There's a contagion of attempts on the president's life, and somehow we go to the next story. We're just moved on to something else.
This could be really unpopular, and people could be really mad that I even say this. But is it maybe because we wonder, that last thing, the thing at the correspondence dinner, wasn't there was even, this isn't just me suggesting, was it really an attempt on anybody's life?
So now you believe in conspiracies.
Was that I always believe in conspiracies. I'm not always in agreement with you that certain things are conspiracies.
That's right.
But no, I think that there was all kinds of chatter after that to suggest maybe it wasn't really, maybe that was a little bit of a setup to get people really excited about the ballroom.
That's pretty crazy.
I don't know.
Anyway, just my thought. I thought, especially maybe I'm thinking about that because of the Lindsey Graham thing. And it is weird. The timing on Lindsey Graham's death is very weird. He's over there. The last picture, I think, taken of him is in a drone factory in Ukraine.
Right.
And as soon as he leaves there, Russia bombs it to smithereens, completely destroys it. Hours later, Lindsey Graham is dead.
Yeah.
Days after, also separately from Russia, Iran has said, you're on our list. Do we want it to be so common that we can just move to the next story? Speaking of conspiracy type things, the president's jet, Air Force One, remember coming back from Turkey? There was a security concern, which I'm certain you remember. We don't know many of the details about it, but it was serious enough that, remember, the president didn't take his new fancy darker blue, very Trump-like paint scheme Air Force One, the gift from Qatar.
Okay.
He didn't take that one back. He took the old one, the light blue one, the one that he was there wanting to replace. So we talked about, the new jet. It comes from Qatar. How it was a gift from Qatari government. And it would be used for the last 2 years of the president's term. And then it would be turned over to the president's, whatever it is, the president's library or presidential center or casino or whatever it's going to be after Trump. That
would be pretty funny if he broke with tradition and instead of having
a
presidential library, have a presidential casino. I can see that.
Yeah. So immediately the president went after the reporters. What happened was there was really a leak about security. And so the president has gone after reporters, but has also asked for all the people that were on that trip or had anything to do with that trip to turn their government phones in.
Ooh.
Now, those phones belong to the government. If you're issued a government phone, you're told this does not belong to you.
Sure.
But over time, just like in the old radio days, you go to a focus group, people know there's somebody on the other side of the glass, but within seconds, they're talking smack. They've totally forgotten there's anybody else watching. They're lost in the room.
Yeah.
And same thing I would guess over time, people get comfortable. This is my phone. It's not really my phone, but it's my government issued phone. And
Do you think so?
oh, I do. Yeah,
well,
I do.
You mean so they're texting their work buddies things maybe that they shouldn't be?
I don't. Probably not.
Uh-huh.
Not everyone would be doing that. But the point is, they've taken all those phones. They're trying to find the leak.
Uh-huh.
And they've also gone after New York Times reporters who were told it was a problem and reported it anyway. The New York Times is seeking to quash the subpoena. As we're sitting here today, the president will be making a primetime address tonight.
Yeah.
By the time this drops, it will already have happened. We're told it's going to be about election, securing the election. I promise you.
The Go Times election.
Well, but looking forward to the midterms. Here are the things we learned from 2020 when I won in overwhelming fashion and could have made America hotter sooner. We're going to secure it so that the midterm election is going to be safe. I promise if he does that, eyes will glaze over. It's just my opinion. I don't think people want to hear any more about the 2020 election. You're deeply embedded in your position, whoever you are, Mr. President, or me, or you, and it's not going to change. So what are we talking about? Why are we still talking about that? It happened the way it happens. Sometimes in sporting matches, somebody gets the call wrong and, quote, the wrong team won. The team that was listed as the winner wasn't really the winner. Let's go back to 1960. Maybe actually JFK didn't win. Maybe it was actually Richard Nixon. JFK's old man was prodding and pulling strings in Chicago. So let's go back. Just what's the point? What is the point? So my hope is, and I know my hopes, they've been dashed so many times. But, and again, this will be known by the time this is heard. My hope is that this is a massive head fake. If the president was really had it going on, what I believe he should do is push this thing out there, this narrative about it being all about elections and all this kind of stuff. And we found these machines didn't work. And let's go back to Hillary. Let's talk about crowd size in 2016. I just was seriously, is my eyes glaze over, and get that narrative out there, but then talk about what you're really doing in Iran. Have some big story. 10 minutes ago, our brave U.S. servicemen and women began the next campaign of blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And here is what we're doing. And by morning, it's going to be this. Boom. That would be great. One of the problems with this is not just that people don't care anymore. And I don't think they care anymore. I think the big problem is, like when you threaten, and nothing ever happens, people stop listening to you. And we don't want people to stop listening to the president, whoever the president is. If any president says, hey, I want to make a primetime address on Thursday night at 8 o'clock, you want the networks to go, we're gearing up.
We're in.
We're shoving everything out. This is must-see TV. Not, you know what, we'll monitor it. In fact, CBS, the reports out before the president was going to speak was, CBS is going to monitor it, and they're going to also fact-check it along the way. So gone are the days of the fireside chat or an address, from the Oval Office, if we keep going down this road. So I hope it's not, or was not, because, again, it's already happened, just another airing of grievances. I'm just trying, you know me, I'm trying to find the positive side.
I know that's you.
Pete Hegseth. You see this? Yesterday, Pete Hegseth, or maybe the day before, said, we're going to begin screening all U.S. servicemen and women for testosterone levels. And it's mandatory as part of their annual health check.
Okay.
It's mandatory to make sure that servicemen, and I suppose women, are not low in testosterone. Now, it's optional for anyone younger than 30, but it's mandatory to be tested for that if you are 30 or older.
Okay.
Now, what happens if the results come in a certain way? You then have the option of taking, I guess testosterone supplements. some kind of supplements or
Yeah.
whatever it is you take to boost your T, your testosterone. You don't have to, but you can. And there are a lot of medical people say you got to be really careful with taking testosterone stuff. I mean, it can increase all kinds of problems. Obviously, more so with men. Well, I say more so. There are men problems, prostate problems, all kinds of things.
Right.
It could increase prostate cancer or enlarge prostate, all kinds of things, and shrinks and other things. And that's all part of taking testosterone. I guess this is gender affirming care, though, isn't it? It's I mean, it's actually the real gender. But I think the bigger thing is this is not going to be the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth says it's to make sure that you're ready for the job that you're being called on to do.
Yeah.
That knowing your testosterone level is important. I would say, knowing my testosterone level is important to me. Having it known by you might be a different thing. And when you say it's optional, whether you do the replacement or the boosting or whatever, is it really optional? Or do people feel the need to go, they've got that on my records now, and mine is low. And if I don't do the thing, am I not going to get the promotion? Am I not going to get the opportunity to be on the team? Only the people on the team are the ones that are spiking on the testosterone level. I kind of don't like the whole idea.
Is this something that's ever been a part of military service before?
Checking testosterone?
Yeah.
No. And they do it for women too. I don't know how you figure that out. I don't know what is the normal level for women. And do people that are younger than 30, they don't have to do it, but they want to get tested, so they on their own take testosterone boosting or whatever it is, and then their numbers can be high, so they can then be deemed to be worthy of being on the team. I think it's a mess. I think it's it'll be interesting to see where it goes. I don't get it. You love Standard Time, right? You're a Standard Time fan? Are you a Standard Time fan?
No, I think I like daylight savings time better.
That's right. Remind me why that is. Maybe it's obvious.
I like to have an evening. I like to be able to go out. And I mean, I know you can have an evening if it's dark outside, but not as free to move around outside, maybe walk the dog, walk myself, be out in the car in a parking lot that is dark as opposed to a parking lot that's light.
The Sunshine Protection Act, we talked about this off the air a couple of days ago. Remember this?
I do.
The Sunshine Protection Act. Do you remember what my take was on that? That people really wanted, but what? What did I think? In my infinite positivity, I thought that over time people would.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
That's good that you don't remember all my negativity.
You say a lot in any given day, so for me to remember all of it is asking. It's asking a lot.
Dang, it always comes back to this. Somehow I'm bad. The House voted 308 to 117 to pass the bill.
Okay.
It's known as the Sunshine Protection Act.
Okay.
So that is a day, just one day after it cleared the key hurdle in the House Rules Committee. It already has bipartisan support, obviously, has the backing of the president, and it goes on now to the Senate. It would allow states to make daylight savings time permanent, but they would have the option to opt out, which I think makes it even crazier.
So much more complicated.
It is crazy. We have Arizona is like that. Some other states are like that. It's like, what time
Indiana,
all of a sudden you have are you Pacific time? Well, sometimes we're Pacific time, but then we're Mountain time at some point. So 48 states and the District of Columbia currently change their clocks twice a year. They jump, forward to daylight savings time in the spring, and then back in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
But I had forgotten this. Maybe you remember this. We tried this before.
We did?
We did in 1974. It somehow was and I'd forgotten that. It did not go well.
I didn't even have a watch in 1974. I don't think I was too aware of what time it was.
It was a disastrous failure. It was returned to normal within a year.
What was, why was it a failure?
Kids were waiting in the dark for buses for school.
Yeah,
there were people that were struck. Kids walking to school that were struck by cars. It was complete. People hated the pitch black, freezing winter mornings. Kids had to wait for the bus in the dark. Deadly traffic accidents spiked because people were driving in the morning to work, because that doesn't change. Your work start time is still the same. Anyway, Congress quickly repealed it within a year. So what is the goal? This is what I found really interesting. What is the goal? It is to have more daylight time when we are awake, right?
Mm-hmm.
To have more daylight time when we are awake. So let's measure that by, let's say, sunrise before 7:30, but sunset after 5:30. Now that's different in any part of the country, different any time of the
Sure.
year, obviously. When you're in Seattle, it's going to be, it's going to end the day earlier. But what would be the difference? So what is the difference over the course of a year for daylight savings time, if you were only daylight savings time, or if you were on the current system, or if you were on standard time only? Daylight savings time, 60% of the year, you would have sunrise before 7:30 and sunset after 5:30. 60% of the year.
Okay.
On the current system, that number is 69%.
So it's not really that big a deal.
But
It's
wait.
not a big difference.
Standard time, that number is 72%. If you name something the Sunshine Protection Act, don't you want to protect sunshine?
Right.
Yeah, but it doesn't work out that way. It messes up circadian rhythms. There are people that say, some studies even say, increases mood disorders, cardiovascular disease,
Heart attacks. even.
strokes.
Yeah.
I mean, even certain cancers, they say,
Ooh.
mood disorders. In some studies, certain types of cancer. Anyway, so if all those things sound like something that wouldn't happen, you're not worried about any of that. And he said, look, all I want to do is I want to get more daylight when I'm awake. That's what I want. That's why I'm for the Sunshine Protection Act. So that's what I want to do. I would just refer you to the facts. And that is 60% of the year, if you have daylight savings time only, you will have the sun rise before 7:30 and set after 5:30. So a lot of sunlight in the day, but you have more with the current system by 9% and even more by 12% on standard time only. So naming those things, it's like naming something that doesn't taste good, candy. The wrapper looks good and you open it and you find that, oh, shoot.
Piece of liver.
World Cup. Man, Messi he's unbelievable. He's magic. He's magic. I was watching that. They were down to England 1-0. 1-0.
Mm-hmm.
The match is 90 minutes long. It's 2 45-minute halves. And the clock never stops. But if somebody gets hurt, somebody is keeping track of, okay, that injury was 45 seconds. That timeout was whatever. The injury was whatever. And they added on. At the end of the half, they would say it's 45 minutes plus 4.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll go another 4 minutes. So you don't know. It could be over at 90. You don't know. But if there's stoppage for whatever reason during that second half, they might add to that 90 minutes. And they did. I think they added 7 minutes to the 90 minutes. So it was 90 plus 7. So England is leading 1-0.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of 90 minutes, Argentina scores for the first time at 92 minutes
Yikes.
and then scores again
Ugh.
at like 97 minutes. And it was over.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And they won. Now, if it had been tied 1-1, they would have gone into a shootout. I kind of don't like that as much. But that's not true. If they'd been tied at the end of that 90 plus 7 or plus 9 or whatever it was, they would play another 30 minutes, which is broken up into 2 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not whoever scores first. It's actually they play a whole other portion of the game, the match, play a whole other portion of the match. And if that results in a tie, whether it's a tie they carry forward or a tie that is generated inside that additional 30 minutes, they have a shootout. So I thought it could go into that other 30 minutes, but it didn't. And all that to say, Messi, I think he had assists on both of the goals.
Man.
Do you know who Lamine Yamal is?
I do not.
Okay. Lionel Messi is a master. Now, he's at the end of this is likely his last World Cup.
How old is he? Do you know?
30-something.
Okay.
38, maybe. Anyway, Lionel Messi. It's the story of Lionel Messi and Lamine Yamal. Now, Lamine Yamal, in 2007, when Messi was playing for Barcelona, Barcelona's sponsor was UNICEF.
Okay.
So UNICEF was on their jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So in 2007, Spanish newspaper and UNICEF partnered to create a charity calendar featuring the Barcelona players. So they're going to raise some money for UNICEF, and they have some of the players. So the players were then paired with local children from a raffle.
Okay.
So the parents could put in, hey, well, I want my kid to be on the thing or whatever. So a 20-year-old Lionel Messi, who was just starting to become a big global star, he was paired with this baby. The famous photo shows him gently holding and bathing the infant in a plastic blue tub.
Uh-huh.
Well, the photos were stored away. Nobody thought about them for 16 years. Meanwhile, this kid, Yamal, he grew up in a working-class neighborhood in Spain. He joined Barcelona's famous youth academy called La Masia.
Is this a soccer academy?
Yeah.
Okay.
He then proved to be a rare talent at 15 years old.
Uh-huh.
He made his debut for Barcelona's first team, wearing the same number 10 jersey that Messi had made famous. Yamal became a global sensation at 16.
Uh-huh.
He led Spain to win the European Championship in 2024. He will be on the other side of the pitch in this championship World Cup match on Sunday.
I did not see this coming.
Lionel Messi, the little baby that he's pictured bathing on the charity calendar for UNICEF.
It's crazy.
That baby is his opponent in this match.
I really just thought you were telling me like a feel-good story where that kid will be, in the arena watch. I had no idea.
So isn't that great? During the 2024 Euros competition, his dad, Yamal's dad, posted that 2007 bathtub photo in Instagram with the caption, "The beginning of two legends."
Wow.
The image went viral, of course. Fans joked that Messi had magically transferred his soccer powers to the baby in the tub. So anyway, myth became reality in this World Cup. The baby held by Messi and the aging Argentine legend will meet on the pitch on Sunday. It is the ultimate story of master and apprentice. Pre-game starts at 10. Go to early service Sunday morning, and the match begins at 2. See you on the pitch. Oh, it is time for a scatter shoot.
Let's go.
Wilder Show scatter shoot. That's it. All right.
Baby names are shrinking.
Baby names are shrinking.
Baby names are shrinking. Did you know that they're actually measuring baby names? That is a stat that people are concerned about.
When you say shrinking, you mean the number of letters in them?
The number of letters. Yeah.
They're shrinking.
Yeah. Parents are embracing compact choices. Increasingly using nicknames on birth certificates.
Really?
So naming a son Don in the 60s, ahead of the curve. Ahead of the curve.
My brother.
Jim and Sarah Wilder bucking trends in the 60s. In 2023, 3- and 4-letter names were among the most popular choices. So think Mia, Noah, Ava, lots of Avas. A personal note, when people first started naming babies Ava, all I could think of was Ava Gabor.
Or Ava Gardner.
And I never thought of Ava Gardner. I guess maybe that
Ava
would have
Gabor,
given
sure.
me a... But I just thought, like, if all of these young people, if their first association was with Ava Gabor, they would not be naming their babies.
Well, that's true.
Ava Gabor, but I guess that wasn't their association. Boy names got shorter, too. We used to have a lot of Alexanders and Isabellas, started having more Alexes and Ellas. 1- and 2-syllable names like Liam, Ezra. I know a baby Ezra. Emma. We already mentioned Mia. All of those grew in popularity. Shorter names got more popular as parents embraced easy-to-spell names and began giving nicknames as legal first names. My sister was Suzanne. She still is Suzanne. We called her Susie. Sometimes she spelled it with an IE. Sometimes she spelled it with a Y. Okay. You can tell all of this if you look at her schoolwork. From when she was a kid, there are years you could look at it and say, oh, that was 2nd grade. That was when Susie was Suzie. There was a period of time in kindergarten when she went just by Sue, Sue, And it was just because it was short. She was 5. She was already exhausted. 3 letters was all she could do. And so while short names are still popular, more and more parents are now opting for longer baby names. I was telling you, it was 2023 when we had sort of when we saw a spike in the 1 and 2 syllable names.
So going back to longer names.
We're going back to longer
Okay.
names now.
All right.
I love some of these longer names.
Go.
You can see it in the top baby names of 2026 so far. There's Amelia, Ileana, Charlotte. That's also only 2 syllables, though. Isabella, Aurora, Evelyn. Those are all in the top 10 for boys. Oliver.
Well, now for boys. I'm sorry.
Elijah and Elias top the boys list. Yeah. Also, double baby names.
What do
We're
you mean?
seeing more.
John.
No, I don't think
What do you
anybody.
mean double baby names?
Well, I mean like Emma Claire,
Oh, I got you.
Olivia May,
Yeah.
Noah Gabriel.
Now, are those hyphenated or are they just
No,
say John West? We call him John West.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, John West. But I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Somebody even asked. I think either Jamie or Katie. They were saying, somebody asked, well, what is his middle name? His name is John West. What's his middle name? It's like, no, West is his middle name.
Yeah.
But it's like, but you say it so often, like John West, they think, oh, that's just one name.
Yeah. I think we've been doing that for years and years.
Yeah.
My uncle Bill, who was William, when he was growing up, they called him Billy Bob.
There you go.
He was William Robert. That wasn't even in the South. You know, they were in the Midwest, and he was Billy Bob. Some longer baby girl names that you could consider. If we talk a lot about aging, we're talking about baby names today. So it might be that none of us. Maybe you can suggest these for your grandchildren.
Okay.
I don't know. Athena. Florence. You have a Florence.
I do.
Don't you have a niece or a great
I do,
great
but
niece?
but before that was my mother's mother.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was Florence.
Okay.
She was Florence Christine. Yes, because Caroline's name is Caroline Christine.
Caroline's next on the list.
Oh, is it really?
And you know why they say that Caroline is enjoying a little spike in popularity? The new the reboot of Little House on the Prairie.
Oh.
Bringing a fresh attention to a timeless name. Elizabeth, that's my middle name. I don't know about this one. Persephone.
Yeah, well, that's not easy to spell. I mean, Persephone.
Persephone.
Persnickety?
No, Persephone.
Persephone?
Yeah.
Never heard of that.
There are some long baby boy names too. You've never heard of Persephone?
As a name?
It's a Greek. It's a Greek name. There's
like
a
Athena
goddess.
is a goddess?
Persephone is the Greek goddess of spring, vegetation, and she's also the queen of the underworld. So maybe that's not a name you'd want to use. I don't know. Think twice about that.
On baby names, I always felt like it was more like syllables. If your last name had 2 syllables, then, do what you want with the first. If your last name is 1 syllable, like John Hunt, it flows better to say Jonathan Hunt or John Michael Hunt or something that has more of a rhythm to it. If you had three names that were each 1 syllable, it can be, I would think, a little awkward.
Yeah.
You think about it, though. You think about the names, you don't have to name them, but the names of your kids and the last name being 2 syllables or even 3 syllables, John Michael Alexander or something like that has rhythm to it.
Yeah.
Having the name have rhythm to it. It's about like Todd Gack. See, that Todd Gack. It's a Seinfeld reference. That doesn't really flow well.
I went to elementary school with a boy named Tim Dick.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. I remember him, though. I mean, of all the kids that I went to elementary school with.
Yeah.
If you want to consider some names that might be memorable for other reasons.
Yes.
There are some suggestions like these are gender neutral baby names.
What are these
I don't know if you're going to like
neutrals?
any of these.
Go ahead.
Indiana.
For a boy or a girl?
For a boy or
I don't
girl.
think I'd like for either one, but go ahead.
I've not heard. I mean, it worked for Indiana Jones.
I guess.
Cameron, that's kind of a popular name. I know of boys and girls.
I know a girl named Cameron.
Yeah. Okay, this one took me back a little bit. Maverick. Do you remember years ago like decades ago. This kid is probably in his 20s now. When we were working at one radio station or another, there was this cute young family that would come to remote broadcasts. And they had a little boy and a little girl, and they were named Maverick and Mariah.
I have no memory of that.
Remember them like it was yesterday. Maybe it was just me they were coming to see, but I know I saw them more than once.
Yeah. Anybody walks up, I said, she's over there.
Addison.
I like that name.
I think that's a cute name. I knew an Addison years and years ago, too, a boy. Montgomery
Clift.
That's exactly who I thought of, too, because they say
Montgomery
this
Wards.
works for any gender, can be softened with the nickname Monty. That kind of sounds more like a boy, though.
Yeah, I think so.
Monty. Maybe I'm just thinking
Monty Hall.
Monty Hall. Yeah. I don't know. The most interesting thing about that to me was that people are actually measuring baby names and saying, there are things like, the average boy baby name in 2023 was 5.82 letters, and the average baby girl name in 2023 was 5.67 letters, and then if you go to 2026, now it's 6.1. I mean,
the other thing that doesn't really take into account is ethnicity can change a lot. If you have an ethnic change, you're going to have more babies that are, named one thing than another. There are more babies named, for example, Mohammed.
Well, this would be different in a place where Mohammed was the number one baby boy name. It seems like that would kind of push up the average a little bit. You know that there's more than one way to measure your age, right?
Sure. Yeah, you have to. Yeah, I think so. You have your chronological age,
like
but then you have
physiological age. Do you have a scale that measures your metabolic age? It's
somewhere.
It's kind of. It's a little. My metabolic age is like a year older. Well, 6 months older than I actually am, which can point to some. I mean, like all of the other things look pretty good. So it's confusing to me why my metabolic age would be older than I am if they're taking an average of all of those other things.
Maybe you have a particular difficult spike in one of those things that drags all the rest of them greater. Does that make sense?
I guess, maybe. Well, there's your physiological age, which is sometimes called your biological age, which I guess is maybe the same as the way that my scale is measuring my metabolic age, because it's based on things like your blood pressure, lung function, grip strength, and blood chemistry. So a physiological age higher than your actual age signals like a faster bodily decline and a greater risk of serious illness and death. So there's a study. Now this took place.
Good morning.
And by the way, death. This is all based on a study that comes from data from the English Longitudinal Study of Aging. Okay, so this is a long-running national study. Almost 2,000 people took part in this. About half of them were male, 47% of whom were male. And they looked at how cultural engagement, like getting out and going to the movies, going to concerts, going to museums, things like that. Have you ever been to the opera? The opera is something that they measure
we
here
talked
too.
about it before. I've been to the opera. I went and saw Madame Butterfly.
Oh, yeah.
That is my only opera. I think that's my only opera adventure.
Well, people answered a question like how often they do those things. Yeah. And the answers ran from never to twice a month or more. And you got a score for how often you take part in those activities. You go to a concert, or you go to the opera, you go to the movies, a museum, or something like that.
I go to the opera at least 4 times a week.
I think you would be a very happy person if you did that. I'm
a happy person now.
I think you'd be a happier person if you did that.
Are you saying that you would be a happier person if I did that?
If you spent more time at the opera? No, I think that it's I've only been to one opera in my life. It was beautiful.
What was it? Do you remember?
It was The Marriage of Figaro. It was 100 years ago when I was in college, And one of my best friends was an opera student in Austin at the University of Texas.
Oh, cool.
And she was in The Marriage of Figaro.
That's cool.
And it wasn't a university production. It was something that she was doing on the side.
Nice.
And it was great. It was
That's
lovely. I have such fond memories of it. I'm kind of surprised I haven't been back because it was really beautiful. Unlike your chronological age, which you cannot manipulate.
Right, true.
If you're 60, you're 60.
Right.
61, you're 61. Your physiological age, which is sometimes called your biological age, that measures how worn down your body systems are. So that you can mitigate. You can mitigate it with a healthy lifestyle.
Sure.
With if it's based on markers like your blood pressure, certainly you can do things to affect your blood pressure.
But are you saying that going to museums and the movies and the opera, that can also do that?
Yes, isn't that the best news ever?
Yeah, sure.
I think it's the best news ever. Researchers also, so they looked at how often people took part in those things, and they scored them based on that. If you went to the movies they call it the cinema, which is kind of lovely. If you went to the movies or a concert or the opera or things like that, you got a certain number of points for how often you did that, and then they would look at what your physiological age was, and the people who did that more, who got higher scores in partaking in those types of cultural activities, got scored better. They had a lower physiological age. And it turned out they could even predict who would have a lower physiological age 4 years into the future by doing those things. Now, it's important. There's one little caveat here. There is a possibility that people who were doing those things, going to the museum, going to concerts, things like that, they were doing that because they felt good enough to do it. So it might be somebody with a higher physiological age. They might just really not feel good enough to get out and go to the movies.
Is it causation or is it correlation?
This type of cultural participation can strengthen social bonds. And loneliness, of course, we know is known to speed physical decline. A lot of these things, if you're not, you're probably doing them with somebody. If you're not doing them with somebody, you're likely to bump into other people while you're doing them.
Other loners.
It could also nudge people into healthier habits. Other research has found that culturally active people are more likely to eat well and exercise.
There you go. See.
So cultural engagement is also tied to better mental health. Chronic psychological stress is linked to faster bodily aging. So if you've got that better mental health, you're less likely to have that chronic psychological stress. This study took place in England, and the researchers were really careful to say that these are results that are specific to England, and they might not generalize across countries or other cultural settings. But it does kind of add to this growing body of evidence that how people spend their time in later years, along with diet and exercise, can shape how their bodies hold up.
Okay.
Obviously, going to the museum or going to the movies doesn't replace good medical care or a visit to your doctor. But I will be purchasing my ticket to see the Odyssey this weekend.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
might have done that anyway, but now I have even extra. I might buy an extra concert ticket or something too. Yeah.
And step on the scale and see the difference.
I mean, if I could lose weight by just seeing a bunch of shows and going to the museum, I'll sign up for that plan.
Yeah, don't work that way.
And if you don't want to go outside, there's another study. It was a clinical trial that followed 19,000 people aged 50 and over for many, many years. And they found that people who regularly engage with puzzles like crosswords or Sudoku. Okay, you're raising your hand like do you do that? Well, yeah.
What is this?
Yeah, that's your Rubik's Cube. That's your Rubik's Cube.
Can I just comment real quick?
Please.
What I've always said, you said concerts and puzzles, right?
Well,
so I know
two
separate studies. I know,
things, yeah.
But concerts, I know that I'm still mentally, I have a mental acuity. If I can still name all 7 original members of the first band I ever saw in concert, which was Chicago, and I can
Go.
And Oh, right now?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Walt Zader, who recently passed.
He did.
Danny Seraphin, Terry Kath, Robert Lamb. Peter Cetera, Lee Loughnane on the trumpet, and James Pankow on the trombone. So that's the original 7.
Okay. I didn't even remember that Peter Cetera was one of the original 7. I'm
Who
sure
did you think
you're
it
right.
was?
I didn't. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm sure I'm right.
would've,
Look that up while I talk about Rubik's Cube. The other thing was, as long as I can still do the Rubik's Cube, if I know the 7 members, the original members of Chicago, and if I can still do the Rubik's Cube, as you've heard me say many times, Lauren, from the other room, I say, not today, Satan. So whether it's the concert going out or whether it's being a mole in your cave and doing puzzles, puzzles can help too.
Yep, puzzles can help a lot. They found that people who were regularly engaged with things like crosswords and Sudoku, they maintained a level of cognitive function that was equivalent to someone 8 years younger.
Come on.
Yeah.
I like that. I like it.
They also said that doing regular puzzles can delay the onset of cognitive decline by several years. One researcher in particular said that doing puzzles regularly is like a gym for the mind. You might ask why. Gets your neurons firing. You've heard the phrase use it or lose it, especially when it comes to healthy aging. When you're stimulating your brain in an intellectual manner, it prompts these bursts of electrical activity or firing between the brain's nerve cells, which are the neurons, and that leads to the formation of more wiring and connections in brain areas.
I should probably note that me doing the same puzzle every day is not really the same
It's
thing.
not. It's not. I was going to let you have your little.
That's a memory thing, though. That is a memory thing. If I could remember how to do it, remember both those things. But no, that's not me solving anything new by doing it. I'm just allowing that doesn't really apply. It applies to memory. It applies to memory.
Does.
And memory's a big deal as some people get older.
Puzzles, they said, can be particularly valuable in retirement, which we were just talking about retirement just the other day, because when you're working, you're doing cognitively stimulating activities all the time. But when you retire, you might not have the kinds of hobbies or interests that sustain that same type of cognitive stimulation, and that can be a danger point. You have to keep challenging yourself. Puzzles, like the ones we mentioned, can stimulate multiple parts of your brain at once. When you're trying to solve a puzzle, your brain is multitasking because it requires several different cognitive functions to take place simultaneously. If you're playing Sudoku, if you're doing a crossword or other puzzles, you have to be paying attention. You need your working memory to kind of be able to remember what the question is and keep it in your mind while you're solving the problem. If it's, obviously, asking what the question is, that's different if you're playing Sudoku. It's been years since I've done this.
I
didn't particularly love it, which we're going to get to that in a minute too. If you don't really love the puzzle, don't do it because it's going to be harder to get yourself to do it every day. And doing it every day is what's going to keep you cognitively sharp.
The puzzles that I like the ones where you find you have a bunch of letters and you find the words from those letters. Tell you, this is a terrible
thing. Like a word search?
Not really like that. I'll give you an example. When I was a kid, sometimes I didn't always pay attention in church, but I had to always be quiet in church, right? And so sometimes I would take the program. In the old days, it was a written program, or the the order of worship.
Yeah.
And I would write the word Rumpelstiltskin across the top. And then I would see how many words I could make from those letters. So you have tilt, you have stilt, you have, pretty soon they're singing the last verse.
And you're done.
Yeah. And so things like that.
No spankings. You were quiet.
Yeah. I was sitting close. To him and didn't always, being quiet wasn't always enough.
I got it. So yeah, part of the key is to find the ones that you like, because if you don't particularly love it, you're not really going to be inclined to go back and do it every day. If it's hard at first, you might struggle, but you got to keep going back to it. It's just like building your physical muscles, with that regular stimulation, brain function can improve rapidly. So what's really hard for you one day, if you keep going back to it, like I said, it's just like muscles. You know, if you can't lift something the first day, start with something a little bit lighter, and pretty soon you'll build up to something more than that. Yeah, they compare it to compound exercises in the gym, which engage a couple different muscle groups at the same time. That's what you're doing when you're doing these puzzles. It improves your vocabulary. These puzzles can stimulate the brain's language center. It encourages you to learn new words and recall new words. And that is one key way of delaying cognitive decline, learning new words is that. There's another thing that they mentioned too, like the two, I play 2 of those New York Times games every day.
I know you do.
And they're really encouraging if you do it well. You get like a little one word. I liken it to getting A's on my report card. I'm encouraged isn't even the right word. I'm bolstered. I'm motivated by praise. So if it says splendid, I'm in. I will go back and do it again tomorrow just to get that little bit of
dopamine hit.
Of a pat on the back.
Pat on the head, yeah.
That's exactly right.
Funny.
So now I got to go do my Wordle.
That is the Wilder Show podcast. Wilder Show podcast drops Tuesdays, Fridays, 6 a.m. Central Time or before on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeart, Amazon, YouTube, really wherever. Also on Instagram, you'll find us there, Wilder Show Pod. You can engage us wherever you find us, those platforms, or you can email us at podcast@wildershow.com. So wherever you get your podcasts, would you like, rate, follow, subscribe, and share? And we appreciate that. And Lauren, thank you.
You bet.
And we'll see you next time.
Da-da-da.